Ugly Mugs offers two different types of custom branding irons. We offer a custom milled brass, which you've seen in our how to brand brass video. And then we offer custom steel brands, which, you know, are a little simpler but cheaper and kind of give that Old West cattle branding type feel. Making a custom brand starts quite a bit before we ever get out into the shop and actually start, you know, bending metal and welding things up. A lot of times we'll have some back and forth with you, the customer, about what shapes we want, or a logo, or some kind of letters or initials, or can we do this, can we do that, and we'll send some drawings back and forth. But almost always we'll start on the computer. This morning I'm gonna make a little arrow. So my arrow that I make is probably gonna come out a little bit more sizable than this, but this is a 2-inch arrow, and we found that between 2 and 2.5 inches is about the right size for a brand on a mug. Anything bigger gets real hard to maneuver around. It gets harder to heat up and stay consistent. So we're gonna make an arrow, and we're gonna start with this piece of metal right here. So once my pieces are all measured and I've cut them out, I've got a pile of little metal chunks. So now it's up to me to figure out kind of how to make them into a jigsaw puzzle to get them to fit together the best, so they'll stay in a great shape when I start welding them and then when I ship them out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all these pieces up and get all the little metal burrs off the end, and then I'm going to cut notches in a few of them and bend them. Once they're bent, then I'll start piecing them together without any welding, just to make sure that my arrow is going to look like an arrow. So stay tuned and follow along. got now is I've got my dry brand all set up. I've got everything cut, shaped, notched, puzzled together. If I were to shake it up, I mean, the arrowhead comes right off. The fletchings aren't welded in, they're just notched into the shaft. But I've got an arrow that's ready to go. So next step is I gotta cut out the backing plate that's gonna hold the brand onto the shaft and also hold some heat in there and keep everything together. So I'll be cutting out the backing plate and then we'll be welding this up to see what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, I got my welding helmet on now. I've got all the pieces cut out, set up. I'm gonna tack these up. Do want, you know, standard disclaimer, welding can be dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it, that sort of thing. So stand by and we'll get this welded up and turned into a brand. So we've got everything welded up. As you can see, we got a nice arrow brand on a stick, right about the right size. At Ugly Mugs, we never build a brand that we don't test, so we're gonna give this a quick test and we'll go from there. So as you can see, this branded up real nice with a little creative wherewithal. I got 3 different shapes that are significant out of this one branding iron. So Little behind the scenes, I'd say the most difficult part of making a custom brand is just really trying to get on the same page with our customers. A lot of people really think about branding these days as logos, logo, and sometimes you don't need to have a real big intricate logo to put on your mug. You know, we worked with a camp and we just did a CM, their initials, and that brands up real nice, real clean. It's easy to brand. We've done a few things like that. So I would say the more intricate makes them the harder, and sometimes that's just getting on the same page with our camps to see what they want. My favorite brand that I've made thus far, I recreated a patch for an event called the Scout Fair, and their logo had a mountain in it, and it had hand-drawn Scout and Fair across the bottom, and it was a real challenge. It took a couple hours to work on, but it came out really nice, and they were super happy with it.